Stranger things are afoot in July's issue of Blocks magazine. Hey folks, my name is Jacob and I am usually over on my own channel, The Brick Bakery, but today I'm here on Beyond the Brick to give you an overview of this month's Blocks magazine. Let's check it out. The July issue of Blocks magazine greets us with this wonderful front page, which spoofs the Stranger Things poster, which I think looks kinda cool. And this issue of Blocks magazine is all about Stranger Things, so let's get cracking. The table of content reveals that Stranger Things does play a significant role in this issue, and moving right along to some letters, which seems to be all about stickers, and then an extensive look on the Lunar lander set. This is the LEGO Creator 10-66, which is a set that celebrates the 50 years anniversary of the Apollo lunar landing. And it also talks a bit about how it's been some years since the last lunar lander module, which was back in 2003. There'll be a review of this set in the next issue of Blocks magazine. In the Month in LEGO section, we find the results of the third review period of 2018 for LEGO Ideas, and it seems that these dinosaur skeletons will be produced as an official set once they have been revised. And this playable piano is still in review, and we've also got a second chance for some of the things, some of the sets that has been rejected earlier, and it seems that we actually already got an answer for this one. The International Space Station will also be produced as an official set. And here's a short article on the LEGO Movie 2 experience, which is a recreation of the set that was used for the second LEGO movie that's been placed in different Legolands around the world. This specific one is from Windsor in London, and I've seen the actual one in Billund in Denmark. It's pretty cool. I can recommend checking it out if you are in Legoland. Here, short article on the LEGO Legacy turn-based RPG that's coming out from Gameloft in not too long. And here's a report from the May the 4th event in Sydney, where the LEGO Star Wars team traveled to Australia to reveal a huge X-Wing fighter that they built with the help of a flock of children. I think it took about 4 hours, but this article will tell you in detail what happened down there. And here's a Q&A with the game director for the new LEGO Legacy game, which will be an RPG, and he goes into detail on how this game will play on nostalgia. As can be seen from these pictures here, we got a certain Mr. Pirate right here on these pictures. Looks good, I think. Some diaries from the good folks over at Blocks magazine, and an interesting article on how you can integrate LEGO in your wedding. Got this lovely LEGO wedding cake right here, which I think actually toured the internet some time back. And another article on how to get LEGO home. This guy talks about traveling a lot and how to get all the sets that you buy abroad back home. It's not an easy task, it seems, and this guy does seem to have some solutions for that. And here's an interesting article on the names of LEGO sets. I actually like this one as it discusses why some of the sets are named differently across the world. It seems that some of the themes has actually been presented with different functions throughout the world, which is kind of odd to me, but it's a very interesting article nonetheless. And this month's top 10 is all about unusual LEGO licenses, and there is some pretty unusual stuff in here. I personally have never seen this Avatar: The Last Airbender license theme, and I think it was only 2 or maybe 3 sets back in the day, but that one is really odd to me. Great top 10, worth checking out. And this article right here continues the 20 years celebration of Star Wars LEGO. It continues the interview with Jens Kronwall Frederiksen, who is the design director for LEGO Star Wars. And it's very interesting because they go into detail on how they have developed the minifigures over time. They have gotten more and more intricate, which can be seen on this picture right here, and also on this picture down here we can see these stormtrooper helmets are developing as well. And they also talk about some of the stuff that's not readily available in the movies. This is the Star Wars Freemaker set, which is kind of cool and has been interesting to develop as far as I can gather in this article. And short focus on the 20th anniversary sets as well. And here we go with the reviews of this issue. The main review is of course the Stranger Things set, which has a pretty good score as well and moves right along into the Tantive 4. There's some of the new Ninjago sets as well, a lot of those, all kinds of different scores, and the big one that just came out not too long ago, and the review chart here. And here's a focus on the new hotel that's been opened close to Legoland in Billund. I've seen this, I haven't been there, but I've seen this from the outside and it does look very, very impressive. Some pictures from the inside right here, and it is quite a big building. It seems that it's a mirrored building, that these two sides are identical to one another, and there's some interesting stuff going on in the rooms as well. There's even Lego folk minifigs on the bathrooms, it seems. As was obvious on the front page, this is the main focus of this issue. This is the Stranger Things set, which just came out not too long ago. Season 3 is coming up, so we can gear up for that with this Lego set. There's an in-depth interview with the creators of this set and all the processes they had to go through, all the wonderful processes that's described concerning these trees and how that developed over time, and of course a focus on the launch of this set as well. And the launch of this set was brilliant. I really liked how they created this video to present it in an 80s style. If you haven't seen this one already, you should really try to find it, because it is very well done. And it plays on that nostalgia which is very present in the Stranger Things series and also in the Lego community. An interesting read, I think. And here, a very cool overview of the 75-810, the Upside Down. Apparently these trees were actually quite the challenge for the designers, but I think they turned out great. Great little overview here. And I think this might be the longest article in this issue of Blocks magazine. This article is all about the history of the Lego group, and it deals in depth with some of the early years. Start with the birth of Ole Kirk Christiansen. It goes over to discuss the First World War and that horrible fire in their workshop, and goes right up until just before 1929 when the crash happened. Some very interesting pictures here to see some of the early stuff that went on in Ole Kirk Christiansen's life. This is a project he worked on, and if I understand it correctly, this house, or maybe this house, is actually the house where he lived at some point, which is pretty cool. I think it's this house over here. And family photo right here. Funny to see this from way back when. This is of course way before they actually started to make the Lego brick. And here's a show report from the Star Wars celebration in Chicago that celebrated the 20 years of Lego Star Wars. Really like this one right here, cool poster, and I like this 3D effect where Luke is stepping out of the background like this. Looks wonderful. This was something you could have seen at that event. And something else you could have checked out at that event was this. This is a world record in most Lego Star Wars minifigures in one place. There were 36,440 stormtroopers standing in this wonderful pattern here. So they broke a world record, and it'll be in the Guinness Book of Records if I am not mistaken. And here's some pictures from the event. This one is actually pretty interesting. D.O. will feature in The Rise of Skywalker. So this is a droid we'll see in the new Star Wars movie that's coming out this Christmas. And some panels going on, some retrospectives on what has been happening previously in Lego and Star Wars and the future of Star Wars. This is sort of a calendar of what is coming up and might be worth watching in the future. The Rise of Skywalker, of course, being the next installment in the Star Wars saga series. This section here has fast become one of my favorite sections of Blocks magazine. This is the retired pieces section, and this time the focus is on Castle Wall. The Castle Wall is a piece that was available from 1984 to 2008. It has been put in 40 different sets and has 6 different color variations. I think a lot of AFOLs will recognize this piece as an integral part of their collection and have a lot of fond memories of how these were used to all different kinds of projects. I know I remember this one very, very fondly. And here the LEGO Ideas Showcase, focusing on this Winnie the Pooh set, which I think is quite nice with this big tree up here. And moving right along, there is a focus on LEGO techniques and how to build campfires. These technique focuses are usually in Blocks magazine, and this one is very, very nice too. There's different ways to build LEGO campfires. I really like this one right here with using these antennas. That's very creative. And this one too, because it's a very unusual use of these clips here. And lastly, of course, there is this, the piece La Résistance, where they are actually mounting a light, a flickering light beneath the plate, so you can get this flickering campfire effect in your LEGO campfire. That is awesome. And then a piece perception article on this, the minifigure neck bracket, which can be used for all kinds of different things, such as this small chair, which is kind of impressive. And the Brick Picker section starts out with an interesting discussion of the regional exclusive sets. And he's discussing whether or not it's a good idea to have these regional exclusives. And lastly, in the Brick Picker section, we've got the Brick Wife, which is a great little article. I really chuckled to myself reading this one, so I can only recommend checking this one out. That wraps it up for July in Blocks magazine. And if you want to know more about Blocks magazine, you can check it out on blocksmag.com. And if you want to watch more great LEGO videos every day right here on YouTube, please subscribe to Beyond the Brick. Until next time, thanks for watching.